For the next 60 days, your life is going to answer one question. Are you serious, or are you just emotional? Are you willing to stay loyal to your future when your mood changes, when your energy drops, when your excuses get loud, and when nobody is clapping for you? That is what this test is really about. Not perfection, not talent, not luck, just discipline. Real discipline. The kind that quietly reshapes a life from the inside out. You do not need a perfect beginning. You need a clear decision. A decision that says, for 60 days, I will stop negotiating with my weakness. For 60 days, I will show up before I feel ready. For 60 days, I will stop letting random thoughts control my actions. For 60 days, I will prove to myself that I can keep a promise. That one decision can change the direction of your entire year. It can change your confidence. It can change your posture. It can change the way you speak to yourself when life gets hard. Most people think discipline is punishment. It is not. Discipline is protection. It protects your future from your impulses. It protects your peace from your chaos. It protects your goals from your emotions. It protects your identity from the version of you that keeps quitting too early. Discipline is what keeps your dream alive long enough for it to become real. And the reason many people never reach their next level is not because they lack ability. It is because they keep choosing comfort over consistency. They keep choosing the easy route over the necessary one. They keep waiting for the perfect feeling, and that feeling never arrives. So this is your invitation to a different way of living. For 60 days, stop asking what is easy and start asking what is useful. Stop asking what feels good and start asking what builds strength. Stop asking what will make today more comfortable and start asking what will make your future more powerful. That shift may sound small, but it is massive. Because a life is not changed by one dramatic speech. It is changed by repeated decisions made in ordinary moments. The moment you begin to respect those ordinary moments, everything starts to move. There will be days when your mind tries to talk you out of the test. It will say you are tired. It will say you deserve a break. It will say one missed day will not matter. It will say you can start over tomorrow. That voice sounds harmless, but if you obey it too often, it becomes the reason your life stays the same. The first battle of discipline is not in the gym, not in the office, not in the classroom, not in the business. The first battle is in the mind. If your mind keeps making excuses, your body will follow. If your mind keeps choosing delay, your life will keep delaying. If your mind keeps entertaining fear, your actions will shrink. But if your mind starts choosing truth, everything begins to rise. Truth says that you are stronger than your habits. Truth says that one bad morning does not destroy a good month. Truth says that progress can survive discomfort. Truth says that discipline is not about never slipping. It is about returning faster each time you slip. It is about refusing to let one weak moment become a weak identity. That is how people grow, not by being flawless, by being faithful, by returning to the standard, by keeping the test alive even when they fail inside it. Maybe you have spent a long time feeling behind. Maybe you have looked at other people and wondered why their lives seem to move faster. Maybe you have been hard on yourself because you thought by now you would have more money, more peace, more confidence, more success. But the 60-day discipline test is not about where you are compared to others. It is about whether you are willing to build a stronger version of yourself right where you are. Right now, in this season, with the tools you already have. Because the truth is, most people do not need a miracle. They need structure. They need repetition. They need a standard that tells them, even when I feel weak, I will still do the right thing. And right thing does not always mean big thing. Sometimes the right thing is drinking water instead of numbing yourself. Sometimes it is waking up on time. Sometimes it is turning off the distractions. Sometimes it is reading instead of scrolling. Sometimes it is finishing one task before starting another. Sometimes it is saying no to the habits that keep breaking your trust in yourself. Sometimes it is going to bed earlier because your future deserves a rested mind. These choices look small, but small choices repeated with discipline become a new life. For 60 days, your job is not to impress people. Your job is to become reliable to yourself. That matters more than applause. It matters more than a perfect image. It matters more than telling the world you are changing. Real change does not need constant announcements. It needs commitment. It needs quiet action. It needs a person who can say, even when no one sees me, I will still honor my goals. That is where self-respect grows. That is where confidence grows. Confidence is not something you fake with loud words. It is something you earn by doing what you said you would do. There will be resistance. Expect it. The moment you commit to discipline, your old habits will fight back. Your mind will suddenly remember every reason to relax. Your body will suddenly feel extra tired. Your emotions will suddenly want attention. That is not a sign to stop. That is a sign that the test has begun. Resistance often appears when something valuable is being built. Do not panic when the weight gets real. Do not assume discomfort means failure. Often discomfort means change is working. It means the old version of you is not giving up without a struggle. That is normal. Let's struggle. You keep moving. The 60 days are not just about doing more. They are about becoming more. You are building patience. You are building focus. You are building resilience. You are building the ability to stay steady when feelings are unstable. You are building a stronger relationship with effort. You are teaching yourself that results come to those who can stay with the process long enough to let it work. That lesson can shape the rest of your life. Because once you know you can endure, you stop being afraid of the hard road. You stop collapsing at the first sign of stress. You become harder to shake. Discipline also changes the way you think about time. Before discipline, time feels like something that is slipping away from you. After discipline, time becomes something you can use. You start seeing the value of 1 hour. You start respecting the power of one morning. You start understanding that a single focused day can be worth more than a week of scattered effort. That is a huge shift. Many people are busy, but not productive. They move all day, but they do not move forward. Discipline fixes that. It teaches you to direct your energy instead of just spending it. Think about the future version of you who will live with the results of these 60 days. That person is being shaped right now by what you decide today. If you choose effort today, that future version gets stronger. If you choose excuses today, that future version carries the cost. If you choose to keep the promise, that future version gains trust. If you break the promise, that future version inherits doubt. So every day matters. Every choice matters. Every moment of temptation matters. You're not just living through 60 days. You are building a person who will stand inside your next season. The best part is that discipline begins to pay back quickly. The first payback is mental clarity. Your mind gets quieter when your life gets ordered. The second payback is self-respect. You start feeling proud of your own behavior. The third payback is momentum. One good day makes the next one easier. One completed task builds confidence for the next task. One healthy choice makes the next healthy choice more natural. That is why the 60 days matter so much. They are long enough to create a pattern, but short enough to stay focused. You're not trying to fix your whole life in one dramatic moment. You're training a new rhythm. And rhythm matters because rhythm is what makes hard things sustainable. Anyone can push for a day. Anyone can make a promise in a burst of motivation. But very few people can keep moving when the excitement disappears. That is where champions are built. In the quiet middle. In the ordinary repetition. In the days when progress feels slow. In the evenings when nobody is checking. In the mornings when you have to choose between the old habit and the new standard. That is where your test becomes real. That is where your growth becomes visible. Do not be surprised if your energy changes after the first week. The body often resists change before it accepts it. The mind does the same. At first, discipline can feel heavy. You may feel irritated. You may feel bored. You may feel like you're forcing yourself. That is okay. Keep going. What feels forced today can become freedom tomorrow. What feels hard today can become identity tomorrow. Every strong habit starts as a conscious decision. It does not begin as automatic. It becomes automatic after repetition. So repeat. Repeat when it is easy. Repeat when it is inconvenient. Repeat when your emotions are unstable. Repeat when the results are not yet visible. That is how the test works. People often wait for a sign that they are ready. but readiness is built through action. You do not become disciplined by thinking about discipline. You become disciplined by practicing it. You do not become reliable by wanting it. You become reliable by doing what reliable people do. You do not become strong by admiring strength. You become strong by choosing difficulty over avoidance, over and over again. That is why this 60-day challenge is powerful. It cuts through the fantasy and puts you in front of real work. It asks a simple question: will you stay with it? Maybe your life has been delayed, but delay is not the same as defeat. Delay can be a classroom. Delay can be a reset. Delay can teach you what comfort could never teach. It can reveal where your habits are weak. It can show you what drains your energy. It can expose the places where your commitment is still shallow. That is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to wake you up. Because once you see clearly, you can change clearly. Once you understand what has been slowing you down, you can remove it. Once you identify the weak points, you can strengthen them. That is growth. A disciplined life does not mean a perfect life. It means a purposeful one. You will still have rough days. You will still make mistakes. You will still have moments where you want to quit. But now you will have a standard to return to. You will have a line you do not cross. You will have a promise that keeps pulling you back into alignment. That is powerful. It means your worst day is no longer able to define your whole week. It means your emotions no longer control your identity. It means you are building something stronger than your mood. This is why the 60 days can become a turning point. Not because 60 is magical, but because 60 gives your mind enough time to stop arguing and start adapting. The first few days may feel like resistance. The next few may feel like effort. Then one day something shifts. You begin to feel the difference in your posture, your focus, your energy, your confidence. You start noticing that the habits you once avoided are now becoming normal. That is how transformation feels. Quiet at first, then obvious, then powerful. Do not wait to feel brave before you begin. Begin and let bravery catch up. Do not wait to feel organized before you clean up your life. Clean up your life, and organization will follow. Do not wait to feel inspired before you do the work. Do the work, and inspiration will show up more often. This is one of the hardest but most freeing lessons in life. Action leads feelings more often than feelings lead action. If you understand that, you stop being a prisoner of your mood. You become a leader of your own direction. Every time you honor discipline, you're telling yourself a new story. The old story says you are inconsistent. The old story says you start strong and fade fast. The old story says you cannot be trusted with big goals. The new story says you're learning. The new story says you can stay with something longer than your comfort wants. The new story says you are becoming reliable. That story matters because identity follows repetition. If you repeat weakness, weakness becomes familiar. If you repeat strength, strength becomes familiar. You're choosing what becomes normal in your life. There's also something deeply empowering about proving to yourself that you can do hard things in silence. Not every victory needs to be announced. Some victories are personal. Some victories are invisible to everyone except you. And those victories are often the ones that change the deepest parts of life. When you keep your commitment without needing applause, you stop living for temporary approval. You start living for lasting peace. That peace gives you power. Because when your worth is no longer tied to outside reactions, you can focus on real building. You can focus on what matters. You can focus on becoming the kind of person who can hold more responsibility without falling apart. Some of you are carrying more pressure than anyone knows. You're trying to hold work, family, money, emotions, and dreams all at once. That pressure is real, but discipline can give you a structure strong enough to hold pressure without breaking. One day at a time, one choice at a time, one task at a time. You do not have to solve your whole life today. You just have to give today a better shape. That is manageable. That is powerful. That is enough to begin. And beginning is where momentum lives. Once you move, the mind starts to believe movement is possible. Once you finish one task, finishing becomes less scary. Once you show up twice, showing up starts to feel like part of your identity. That is the hidden magic of the test. It makes action less foreign. It creates familiarity, and familiarity lowers resistance. The things that once felt impossible start feeling normal. The things that once felt heavy start feeling like part of your standard. That is progress. If you're struggling with self-doubt, let discipline answer it. If you're struggling with delay, let discipline answer it. If you're struggling with shame, let discipline answer it. If you feel stuck, let discipline create movement. If you feel behind, let discipline create direction. Because discipline does not need a perfect life to work. It works inside the real one, inside the busy one, inside the messy one, inside the painful one, inside the ordinary one. That is why it is so valuable. It meets you where you are and leads you somewhere better. Some days the test will feel simple. Other days it will feel like a fight. On the hard days, remember that you are not only fighting to finish the day, you are fighting to change your standards. And standards are powerful. A standard says, this is who I am now. A standard says, this is what I do when things get hard. A standard says, this is how I treat my future. Once a standard is installed, your life starts to organize around it. You no longer need constant motivation because your standards begin to carry you. That is the goal of the test. Not temporary effort, permanent upgrade. Your life may not transform in a dramatic flash, but it can transform in a disciplined rhythm. That rhythm is built from ordinary wins. Wake up, show up, focus, finish, rest, repeat. That pattern may look too simple to impress the world, but it is strong enough to rebuild your future. In fact, the simplest routines are often the ones that create the biggest change because they are repeatable. And repeatable habits create reliable results. Reliable results create confidence. Confidence creates more action. More action creates a better life. That is how change moves, not in one giant leap, but in a chain of honest days. So for these 60 days, stop chasing emotional highs and start chasing real growth. Stop looking for a perfect feeling and start building a perfect habit. Stop asking whether the process is exciting and start asking whether the process is effective. If it is effective, stay with it. If it is strengthening you, protect it. If it is building your future, respect it. That is what this test asks of you. To be loyal to the process when the process is quiet. To be loyal to the work when the work is not glamorous. To be loyal to the standard when no one is watching. That loyalty changes everything. At the end of 60 days, you may not become a different person overnight, but you will not be the same person who started. You will have more evidence, more strength, more focus, more self-trust, more respect for your own word. And that matters more than a moment of hype. Because hype fades, evidence stays. Hype makes noise. Evidence builds confidence. Hype feels good. Evidence changes life. The real reward of the 60-day discipline test is not just better habits. It is a better relationship with yourself. You begin to trust your own hands. You begin to believe your own discipline. You begin to know that you can create change even when the world is not making it easy. That is a powerful place to be. When you trust yourself, you stop living like a victim of circumstances. You stop waiting for rescue. You stop giving your future to the mercy of your feelings. You become a builder, a planner, a finisher, someone who knows how to move with calm power. And calm power is often the most dangerous kind because it lasts. It does not burn out quickly. It does not depend on applause. It does not collapse when challenged. It keeps going. It keeps working. It keeps creating. So take the test seriously. Protect the 60 days. Protect your morning. Protect your focus. Protect your promise. The person you will become is waiting on the other side of your discipline. Stay with it long enough and you will see it. Stay with it long enough and you will feel it. Stay with it long enough and you will carry yourself like someone who finally understands that real success begins with what you do when no one is forcing you. That is the real test. That is the real reward. That is the real change. When the 60 days are over, you will not only look back at the habits you built, you will look back at the fears you outgrew. You will look back at the excuses you stopped believing. You will look back at the pain that no longer controls you. And you will realize something important. Discipline did not just make you more productive. It made you more free. Free from the chaos of impulsive living. Free from the weakness of constant delay. Free from a need to always feel motivated before moving. That freedom is worth every hard morning, every tired evening, every moment of discomfort. It is worth the struggle because it gives you a life you can stand inside with pride. Not a perfect life, a stronger one, a steadier one, a more honest one. And that is why this test matters. It is not punishment. It is a chance to prove that your future is more important than your habits of the past. A chance to show yourself that discipline is not a prison, but a bridge. A bridge from confusion to clarity. A bridge from delay to action. A bridge from self-doubt to self-trust. A bridge from surviving to building. Walk that bridge one day at a time. Protect each step. Respect each step. Let each step count. Because in 60 days, those steps can become a new identity. So begin now, not later. Not when the mood improves. Not when life becomes easier. Begin now with the next useful action, the next honest choice, the next disciplined moment. Your future is listening. Your confidence is listening. Your next level is listening. And every time you choose discipline over distraction, you speak a louder language than doubt ever could. Keep speaking that language for 60 days, and you will not just finish a challenge. You will build a new standard for your life.